最近おじいちゃんいるから違うけど久しぶりにバイブスあげてこう嬉しそうできるスイカ
How's it going, y'all, and welcome to Castaway Anime, your favorite anime podcast. As always, I'm Nyan Neko.
And I'm Crunchy Bagels.
And we're very glad that y'all joined us on this episode number 107 of the podcast. Today's Catch of the Day features the finale of Oshi Season 2, episodes 11 through 13, and the Studio Ghibli film Whisper of the Heart. If you enjoy the podcast and want to hear more of our objectively correct takes, registered trademark, then be sure to subscribe to us here on Castaway Anime on YouTube and follow us wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode of the best anime podcast. Crunchy, how the hell are you?
I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment. The Nyan Neko Sugar Girls video is cancelled. It's not coming out.
I don't know how good of a bid that can be anymore when it's already out by the time this comes out.
I announced it on my Patreon, so it must be true.
You have it linked in your Discord bio.
I have a
You have it pinned on your Twitter.
No, that just leads to me at the zoo. All right, it's different.
Yeah, how does it feel to have your 6-month demon finally laid to rest?
Well, here's the interesting thing, and I talked about this in a decompression chamber I recorded the day before yesterday, so before the video came out. When I first finished it, I felt nothing. I was just like, it's a thing, nothing changed about my life. It feels the exact same. It didn't even really feel like it was over, because technically it wasn't. Even though it was a Patreon exclusive, I could still theoretically, because the plan was, if there's anything pressingly wrong with the video that a patron alerts me to, I can fix it. But then Redneck watched the entire... Friend, you always told me to clarify this. Friend
Yes,
on Discord. Redneck watched the entire thing. Twice, by the way. He's seen the entire thing twice in the span of just a few days.
Dang, I'm a bad friend. I've still only seen the first 20 minutes of it.
I mean, you're preparing for a hurricane, so you have an excuse.
Yeah, this might be the last episode of the podcast.
Uh-oh.
Nah, I don't think it'll be that bad. Milton's been downgraded to a 4, and it's gonna make landfall. Projected to be at a 2 tomorrow at the time of recording, so... Yeah, I think it'll be fine. The worst hurricane this place has been through, I think, is a Cat 4, maybe a Cat 3. But I think it'll be fine.
Alright. Yeah, Floridians just know how to survive them at this point. They're used to it.
Yeah, evacuation warnings be damned. I know when it's time to go.
Yeah, but he watched the entire thing, found nothing wrong with it. And so I was like, all right. And also, yesterday we tried to record and you were like, well, I mean, if you want to release it sometime around 11 to 1, it's between that right now. And I'm like, oh, damn, he's right. All right. Hit upload. And now it's out. It's been 23 hours, 25 minutes exactly, looking at the clock right now since I released it. And it hasn't done numbers yet. Emphasis on yet. I have faith. It will get 10 million views. Trust me on this one.
Well, maybe 10 million's a bit ambitious, but I think it should do well.
I am hoping. I am severely hoping.
It's already knocking on the door of 1,000 views. It's gonna get a boost in like a couple days. Because long videos are kind of in right now. People love their video essays.
I will say, and this could be a false alarm, because the YouTube algorithm likes to play me like a fiddle at times, but there is a slight uptick in views right now, where the past couple hours have been gaining traction. It was dead around nighttime, and then it's like gaining a bit more. Okay, it's sort of leveling out again. So maybe it was a false positive. But still, I have hope. But yeah, now that people are actually watching it, and the response has been universally positive, now it feels like I'm free from the demon.
I was
It
gonna
only hit me
say
like yesterday.
now that you have people in your Discord and I assume your comments too being like, dang, this was like well made, well researched, well scripted, well voiced, everything great all around.
If this video bombs, this is the proof that the YouTube algorithm does not boost videos based on how good they are.
Well, that was
Which,
always
I
the
mean, everyone
case.
knows.
That's not a
Well,
secret.
I've I've listened to fucking Mr. Beast on podcasts,
Yeah,
and
and he might be
he
a
will
pedophile, so what does he know?
continually. He's not a pedo.
I know.
No, I can't even let you say that.
I know. I'm just being
Okay.
outlandish, but I mean he is in some hot water.
He is in fact in hot water, but he would insist on podcasts. No, good videos get more views. And the first time I heard
That's
it,
totally
and the like
subjective
fifth
though.
time, yeah, I always was like, man, this is the dumbest thing he's ever said.
Like
Why would you say that?
what if
You're
I hate all
stupid.
of Mr. Beast's videos? That doesn't change the fact that I
I
have millions of views.
I mean, I don't hate them, but there's one part in the Nyan Neko Sugar Girls video where I do play a Mr. Beast video. Spoiler, I guess. But the reason why I chose that specific video is because I needed a Mr. Beast video to play. And so I looked for one on his channel, found the one I ended up using, and immediately burst out laughing from how terrible the intro was. Because it was so over edited, just constant sound effects and things moving and stimuli going on. And I just could not stop laughing at how atrocious it was. And I was like, that needs to be in the video. That's awful.
Well, yeah, because it's not good by real standards. It's good by like ADHD, no attention span Zoomer standards.
I'm a Zoomer. I should be the primary demographic, but I think the demographic has shifted to Gen Alpha now, because you have to be like 4 to enjoy this.
I'm still coming to terms that there's a generation coming after the Zoomers that's somehow worse. Man, maybe the Boomers were onto something. Maybe every generation is worse than the last.
Goddamn generational drift into the abyss.
Yeah, it's I'm very glad that you finally have put that demon to rest, and hoping that it turns out well for you. Everyone, go check out the Nyan Neko Sugar Girls video. It'll be linked in the card in the top right hand corner at the start of the video. It'll be linked at the end. Y'all gotta go see this shit.
Yeah, it's your moral obligation to watch it. You're a bad person if you don't.
Yeah, because I know you were a generous co-host, and you plugged the podcast and the reboot at the end.
No, I didn't.
I see.
No, hold on. The ending cuts to this song that's like super emotional. It's like the emotional catharsis of the entire video. I don't interrupt it with any words. I can't say anything because saying anything would just mess with the emotions of the video.
I see.
I list the patron names in text form only. That's how important it was that I say nothing at the end.
Dang, you wouldn't even ruin the emotional mood with a patron rap.
Oh yeah, while the song is going, I go like Neon Manta drinking Fanta, clobbered Santa. Now he's on the run from the law. Anta.
Yeah. Wordsmith. Kendrick is shaking.
I do rap in the video, just not a patron rap.
Oh boy, it's more peak than previously thought possible.
Exactly.
So I'm assuming since the most recent part of your time since the last podcast has been polishing and finishing up the NNSG video, you haven't had much time to do things outside the podcast?
Yeah, only in the past couple days since I finished it. The one thing that I have done in terms of media, and there's basically nothing to say on it. So yeah, I have begun continuing my Geometry Dash level, and I hope to finish it before I start my next video. That hinges on how many views the next not the next video, the current video gets. because if it gets a ton of them, then I'll feel pressured to start working on it sooner. But hopefully, I can just have the rest of the month be not working on videos constantly. Ideally.
That's been pretty much it. Just Geometry Dash.
Yeah. I'll have more to say on that when I actually finish the level.
Yeah, because everyone knows that the next video is going to be your long-awaited Geometry Dash video.
I'm not sure about long awaited, but
It's a long time coming.
and I'm not sure about everyone knows either. And I'm not sure about that being my next video.
I mean, Club Step
but-
2019 is a hallmark of Crunchy Bagel lore.
God, I remember when it was a running joke among all my friends to say that was my best video because it would bother me.
It's okay. Your new best
Because I
video
hate that
now is
video.
What Do I Do?
True. It has an obscene number of views.
What's the
Compared
view
to
count
the
out
hour of
nowadays?
effort.
Because like, I know it got like a shit ton. I think it's like crossed 100,000.
It's like 130K, I think. I'd have to go check, but I know it completely fell off, which is
Aw.
fine. I don't care.
Yeah, is that what you tell yourself?
That's not what I tell myself. I legitimately, that was like I had a feeling
125,000.
it'd blow up. Okay, yeah, so I was about right. I had a feeling it'd blow up, but I also, like, of all the videos I've ever released, that's like one of the few that I wouldn't want to. I mean, not that I outright wouldn't want it to.
I'm
blow
sorry,
up,
I don't
but
mean to
that,
interrupt you. I
it's
organized
so low effort.
I organized a Bagel for the Road by popularity, and the two videos behind What Do I Do are Yours Twisted Morality, which I can only imagine was people thought was a video essay and not just your audio podcast, and then Never Good.
I don't know why that gets views.
I think because
It's
people
just
thought it was
me-
going to be a shit post.
It was literally just me reviewing one of Anime Guru's videos.
Well,
about
yeah, the only
movies.
because you gave it a funny thumbnail and you gave it a funny meme title that has nothing to do with the actual. Like, I bet if I go into the comments and the like dislike ratio, yeah, like 1,800 views, but only 7 likes, only 5 comments,
Yeah, it's really weird.
and one of them
I
is
also got-
free Bill Cosby, free Harvey Weinstein, free Jared Fogle, free Slobodan Milosevic.
I didn't even see that comment. Wow.
It was
But I
3
was
months
about
ago.
to say, there's some weird comments on that video. There was one that I outright deleted because it was just straight up transphobia. Just hardcore, apropos of nothing, transphobia with like slurs in it. Like it was out of pocket, and I was so confused. Yeah, in case you couldn't tell, it's harvest season in Illinois, and right now my sinuses are terrible, so my voice will be disgusting for this podcast.
Also,
Going
what's
aside,
the new icon for a Bagel for the Road? I never noticed that till now.
It's just some Twitter art I liked.
Oh, you filthy art thief.
I have them credited in my channel bio, okay?
You were too good for just flipping your avatar upside down.
Yeah, I don't know, something about that. I guess it just
I mean, it
wanted
was
an
pretty
anime
lazy.
girl as the profile picture because I don't know, it just feels
You should just do what
more
I do and
underground,
pay
more
another artist to
personal.
draw your avatar smoking a comically fat blunt.
See, that would be funny, but I'm trying to save up money because I want to move out sometime in the next, I don't know, 365 days.
Yeah, I mean, I want to move out in that roughly about that time, maybe like half the time, but yeah, that too.
I mean, ideally half the time for me too, but my job pays me a pittance.
That's why you gotta go full time. Well, first you need to grind your part-time job so you can get experience enough to give full-time employers a reason to hire you.
I mean, ideally I never go for a full time because that will be the day my channel dies. That will legitimately be the end of my channel. I'm not even joking. I will never upload.
I mean, I don't know.
Neon,
other
how
people
many
do.
your job lets you, like, your job gives you a comical amount of free time compared to almost any other full-time job that I can think of, and you still haven't posted a video. It would be the end of my channel, Neon.
Well, actually, I have made a lot of progress, and I've been keeping it close to the chest, because I have been working on stuff in the background with a new strategy in mind. But
Oh shit, we've got a speed run strategy over here. Get
uh,
summoning Salt in the room. He gotta analyze this shit.
but yeah, that's a story for another time. Because right now, I gotta put you on blast for two good movies. That one of them, yeah, we were almost going to do a podcast on, but then fucking G Kids couldn't bring themselves to put Look Back in bumfuck nowhere, Illinois.
Damn. It's a sad day to be a bagel in the middle of a country road.
Yeah, I mean, they did make tweets saying the best way to get our movies in your theaters is to let them know that you want them. And I don't know, maybe because you live in such a low density populated area that your one voice will be like, oh, okay, yeah, if this one guy wants it, then that'll be enough to turn a profit.
Potentially. Potentially. But unfortunately, the time for it to be a podcast show has seemingly passed.
I mean, it's still in theaters, well, and it would just be like a one-time thing for a movie. But I'll talk about here that maybe if once it comes out on digital, you'll be able to check it out because I think you definitely like it as a fan of both Fujimoto and good movies about art and creative passion.
Yeah, and also just as a fan of good movies. I'm sure it's great.
Oh yeah, yeah. If you have an hour to kill, because the movie's only an hour long, then it is a good way to spend an hour.
All right. Any specific non-spoiler thoughts you have?
I love there's a lot of Yuri baiting that I was not expecting, but I was very happy to see.
Okay, but Yuri baiting. How bait is this Yuri? Or
Uh,
can you tell me?
yes and no, because I don't want to give away what happens.
All right. I guess I'll leave that to the imagination then.
I'll just mention this one scene which I thought was adorable because I'll give you how much do you know about Look Back? Like, do you know what the premise is?
Nothing.
Okay,
Literally, not even the premise.
you didn't even bother to look it up when it was originally going
No.
to be on the podcast.
Not really. I always just do that at like the last minute when I'm right about to watch it. And then I'm like, oh, okay, that's the premise. And then watch it.
So all you knew was just that okay, it's the Fujimoto one shot. That's it.
Yes, that's literally it.
Okay, well, all right. So, it's about these two elementary school girls who are making a 4 coma manga in their school newspaper. That at first it was just the one girl, Fujino, who is making these comedic little 4 comas. They tend to have like a bit of a story to set up a punchline, and everyone in the class loves it. Like the drawings are like nothing incredible. They're like talented for a fourth grader, which is what she is, but like they're not something you'd post on Twitter. They're kind of like one caliber, which not to insult one or anything, but everyone loves it. But then she says, all right, hey, you have to, the school's like, could you give this one student who is a shut-in who stays at home named Kyomoto, could you give her one of these slots for your 4 comas, so that way you don't have to work as hard. You can cut back the number of comics you draw from 2 to 1 every week. And she's like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. It don't matter to me. And so when Fujino sees the newspaper and she sees Kyomoto's incredibly detailed background drawings that they tend to not have people in them, but they are able to tell like wordless stories just by like the imagery. Like she'll do one about like a summer festival, and she'll show fireworks in a beautifully drawn night sky on paper, a shrine gate, a little festival, and they're like insanely good. Like for a fourth grader, she's like a prodigy drawing these backgrounds. And so Fujino, the people start to like her manga less and Kyomoto's manga more. So she tries to motivate herself to compete with her, even though it's like kind of like a one-sided competition, because she's like, oh my gosh, she's stealing all my attention. I can't have that. I need to be the best. So she gets a bunch of like how to draw books. She improves herself over like the couple years, but it kind of takes away from her school life and her social life. Her grades start to slip. She hangs out with her friends less and less. And then just one day when she realized, like, no matter how much better she has gotten, and she has gotten markedly better, if you like look at her drawings from 2 years ago to now, she has gotten markedly better, but she still cannot catch up to Kyomoto's ability. So she just like, fuck it, I give up. She doesn't go to school. Like I have to like balance having a social life, doing good at school and drawing this manga, and I can't keep up. Whereas she doesn't have to go outside. She doesn't even have to go to school. She just is like a truant school student, and she's able to draw this manga as long as she wants. So fuck it, I give up. I'm retiring from drawing. I'm going back to hanging out with friends. I'm going back to doing good at school. She graduates, but then on the day of her graduation ceremony, she's tasked with delivering the graduation certificate to Kyomoto's house. And so when Kyomoto meets her, she's like, "Oh my god, are you Fujino? You're my hero. I've read your manga every day. You inspired me to put my manga out there into the school newspaper. You're so cool. Can I get your autograph? And I want to, I want to work with you if I can. You're sensei." And so Fujino like takes it in stride, and then they agree to work on a manga together to submit into a manga competition. And so, and then Fujino's like, "Oh yeah, cool, whatever. Yeah, we can do that together." But then on the inside, she's like, "Yes, fuck yes," because like the person that she thought she couldn't compete with actually looked up to her the whole time. It's really sweet.
Yeah, and how much of the movie does that encompass?
Uh, that encompasses the first 15 to 20 minutes. I think that's
Alright.
accurate. So I'll give you the first 25% of the movie, but the rest you gotta check out for yourself.
I also have to note, Fujino, Kiyomoto.
Yeah, no, I'm very, very positive that Fujimoto based this story off of an experience that he had, and then just took some creative liberties with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm based on the premise, it already seems like something I'll like.
Like, and to highlight how much of a somewhat self-insert story it is, literally the manga that they make together is called Shark Kick, and it's literally just Chainsaw Man. Like every cover that they draw for the manga, it's literally just Chainsaw Man, but with OC, like different fanfiction OCs.
Alright, it definitely seems like something I'll check out. So what's the other film that you're going crazy for?
The other film is my movie of the year so far, and that is The Wild Robot.
Oh yeah, that's that DreamWorks movie.
Yeah, it is that DreamWorks movie, and it is keenography, let me tell you.
Man, DreamWorks putting out a good film. They do that like 1 out of every 3 films.
Yeah, they're wildly inconsistent. They'll go back and forth. It's almost like a like 1-2 sort of situation where it's like, all right, we'll release one banger, then a bad movie, then a good movie, then a bad movie, then a banger, then a shitty movie. Yeah, as a fan of liking good things, it is frustrating to get Kung Fu Panda 4 earlier this year, and then The Wild Robot later the same year. And I just wish that they would just make those kinds of movies all the time, but you know what? At least that they're making them. Which is more than I could say for other studios.
Yeah, all right. So, any specific thoughts that aren't spoiler filled?
Uh, yeah, it's beautifully animated. It has an amazing score. The performances are great. Especially the main character Roz, the robot. I love how yeah, the whole movie is about her like defying her programming and becoming more self-aware and learning to love. The movie is basically a spiritual successor to Wall-E. Like it feels.
That was my first thought when you said learning to become self-aware and learning to love. I was
Yeah,
like, oh, it's Wall-E in it.
except in place of like finding love between like in another person that you like as a partner. This one's more about like love between a found family of a mother and her adopted duck child. And it is very peak. I love how I don't want to mispronounce her name, but she has it's an African actor. And okay, Lupita Nyong'o, I think that's how you pronounce it. Uh, she gives a great performance as Roz. I love how she starts the movie as like she gives a very purposefully stilted robotic voice, which is pleasant to listen to, but you can still tell that she's like very robotic. But then as the movie goes on and she becomes more and more self-aware and free from her programming, she starts more like a normal person with like normal flow in her tone and her voice. It's not stilted anymore. Oh, it's so good.
That seems like a neat touch.
Yeah, everything with her, the way her body moves is so creative. All of the voice performances are great. I forgot that Pedro Pascal was in the movie and he plays a fox, and he's great. It's like everything. The best part about the movie, though, hands down, the cinematography. Like it is breathtaking. Like genuinely, I want to print out some of these shots and hang them on my wall. Good.
All right. So that's your homework for this podcast to everyone listening.
Yeah, Transformers 1, it was
Look
nice
back.
holding the title of best movie of the year for 1 week while it lasted, but I kind of knew in my heart it was going to get dethroned by Wild Robot. To Transformers 1's credit, I did have to think about it when I got out of the theater. I was like, is it better? Cuz it's a close call. They're like very even. I would say if you're more of a narrative plot guy, then Transformers 1 will scratch that itch more. Not to say Wild Robot doesn't have a really strong and rich narrative, but I think Transformers 1 has the slightly better one. But in terms of like, the overall package, I think Wild Robot edges it out.
Edges. Does it also goon?
No, it never goons. Just like your video.
Based. Never goon.
Yeah, so that is your homework. By the time this this podcast comes out, Wild Robot should definitely still be in theaters, and I think Look Back might still be in theaters. G Kids said they were extending it past the original 2 days that they were gonna put it in theaters, but I hope it does well. When I went to go see Look Back, it was packed, so I'm very glad for that.
I've seen many such cases on Twitter, so it seems like the movie is getting at least more attention than expected.
It currently is doing numbers critically too. I'm pretty sure. Let me check. On Letterbox, it is currently. Oh my god, it's in the top 100.
Damn.
Yeah, it's an 88. I don't love it as much as critics. I only gave it an 8 out of 10 because I don't want to spoil why I think that, because that would go into spoilers, but it's definitely great. I think it I don't know about top 100 movies of all time, but it definitely deserves the love that it's getting.
All right. And I think that about does it for things of media we consumed.
Yep. Speaking of media to consume, maybe that time will be cut down dramatically thanks to YouTube. Changing the game. You thought consuming YouTube Shorts 1 minute at a time and endlessly doom scrolling YouTube Shorts was bad? How about 3 minutes? What if we just go full on TikTok?
I mean, it sounds better, but it doesn't sound good. If you, I mean, the
Uh,
concept of shorts. I just don't like the concept. Just the idea of them.
I like the idea of them. I do dislike when creators only get themselves popular through shorts. That kind of annoys me because it's like, dang, this is just kind of propagating like low effort content just doing well. Because if you make enough like low effort content, enough of it, if you just make a large quantity, eventually it's gonna start sticking just by law of averages.
I mean, the issue of shorts isn't necessarily that I hate short videos inherently, because there are tons of short videos that I do like. They just tend not to be shorts. They tend to be just normal videos that happen to be, a minute, between a minute and 3 minutes. I mean, what do I do is technically a short, except that it isn't, and this is my biggest problem with shorts, the aspect ratio. Why does it need to be square or taller? What's the purpose of that? Why limit creators to that? The answer is TikTok. They're just doing it cuz TikTok does it.
Yeah.
But it's stupid. Why? And I also just hate the infinite feed. I hate the idea of swipe next video.
Well, they
Remember
say it's
when
an
you used
infinite
to
feed, but for my experience, I'm sure yours as well, Mr. YouTube
I
Shorts
don't use
hater.
shorts. I don't have experience with it.
Really, you've never tried at all, just like clicking on a short that even to a short hater like
I
you.
click on individual
Yeah,
shorts,
like it looks
but I
like
don't
you go
scroll
on your home
down.
timeline and it's like, okay, this kind of appeals to me. I'll check it out. But you never scroll past the one.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, I've scrolled down. Well, what happens is I'll accidentally like flick the scroll wheel ever so slightly on my mouse, and then it'll scroll down. I'll be like, no, go back. Then it'll scroll back up. But then YouTube has this glitch where it'll overlay the audio of the last short you were on over the previous or over the prior one, and they'll just play at the same time.
I've never
And
encountered
sometimes
that.
sometimes I'll click on, I'm trying to click on my subscriptions page, accidentally click on the shorts tab. Then I'll immediately click to something else. It happens this morning where the audio from the shorts will continue playing over whatever I'm trying to do.
Well,
And it's
Crunchy, you
really
want
annoying.
if you want to help the Nyan Neko Sugar Girls video explode, you cut up some highlights into shorts.
Oh god, I could do that. There's almost certainly gags that would work out of context.
Yeah, see, I'm curious to see how the meta of shorts is going to evolve with the new 3 minute cap, because what I think is going to affect most of all are highlights of channels. Like now, because people have done it before, have been doing it before with the 1 minute clips, but now sometimes you got a clip so good that 1 minute doesn't do it justice. Maybe you've got like a minute 30-second clip or a 2 minute clip that shows off the video, but YouTube Shorts have been built around the idea that, hey, they're short. They're 60 seconds max. They are quick, bite-sized entertainment for you to consume with two O's before you continue on with whatever it was you were doing before.
I will say the 3-minute cap makes me infinitely more likely to put out highlights of my videos, because I mean, there's so few ideas for like actual shorts that I would ever want to do, aside from ones that just satirize the idea of shorts, like like the one video I did because
Here's
I hate shorts.
here's my big theory. This is my I'm putting on my thinking cap for this one, which I don't know 100% if I want it to be the case, but I'm curious to see if this will be the case and how it affects the YouTube meta going forward. What if we get the return of short videos by creators who, nowadays it's no secret, shorter videos tend not to do as well unless you've got like a already huge following. Like unless you're Donkey, who normally makes like 5 to 7 minute videos all the time and can get away with it because he's huge. If you're getting into YouTube, and you're not hitting that 8 to 10 minute mark, you're not as likely to blow up as fast as someone who is doing that. So what I'm thinking is, what if some creators got ideas for videos that they want to make, but they don't know how to stretch out a point that they want to come across in like a normal length of time video. But like, say you've got an opinion on, yeah, I'm just throwing this out there. You got an opinion on Don to Don, Mr. Crunchy Bagels, that you think you want to share, a unique take that you want to share with the internet crowd, your fandom, your
Don to
community.
Don is shit. It's
Yeah.
terrible.
Sure, yeah, let's go with that. But you don't have enough like drive or like ideas enough to fill a 10-minute video. But Don to Don is big right now, so if you make a video on Don to Don, it's more likely to get views now than later. And within just a week's time from recording, YouTube Shorts are going to be bumped up from 1 to 3 minute videos. How viable would it be to make a maximum 3-minute short format video? Yeah, it would be a pain in the ass to deal with the square or taller aspect ratio, but if it could be done, how successful and viable could this be?
Well, the thing is, YouTube Shorts, I guess my issue with it is that there's a meta around them, and a very shit one.
Do we have to put captions in the 3-minute shorts?
Potentially.
Or do they have to last the whole 3 minutes?
I think in the very beginning, right? Here's my theory, right? As someone who has been on YouTube a while, I think at first it will get people to be able to not put captions on the shorts or whatever, as people will experiment with it. Then they'll put it back on because they'll realize that, the more stimuli you have, the more people will be hypnotized zombie mode. And so they'll put them on and they'll just get worse and worse. And then eventually they'll get so bad that there will be a new trend of shorts without captions, even on 3-minute shorts. And I'm not sure exactly how much of this has happened in shorts proper because I don't watch them. But I know at some point they're going, like, the captions and overstimulating brain rot will get so bad that people start to wean it back a bit.
I wonder, and I will partake in the experiment by taking the best 3 minutes of this discussion, turning it into a short for the podcast, and uploading it to see how well it performs in a week from now.
Beautiful. If you're watching this as a short, stop that.
No, don't say that. That's how. Subscribe to the channel. Click on the link on the screen here to visit the entire podcast to get our full experience. Crunchy,
get the full experience instead. It's better.
Well, no, this can be the gateway. This could be like, oh wow, I discovered this guy through YouTube Shorts, and now I've checked out his big main content, and it's great.
The thing I wonder, though, is how many people are actually doing that? Because, and this is a well-known fact about shorts from people who actually analyze this space of online content. Shorts creators do not get audiences the same way that regular creators do. People on TikTok and YouTube Shorts, people aren't loyal because of the format of an infinite feed. So you can follow someone on TikTok and forget that you even followed them because their videos are only a couple minutes and you're swiping through so many that they just blur together in your head and you're not really loyal to any one follower. And so TikTok creators and YouTube Shorts creators infamously have a hard time transitioning out of that and getting an audience outside of it. They have a hard time making money. They have a hard time gaining that loyal core fan base that long form content gives you. And so, to me, it's there might be a few people who click from my short to my main video, but they're probably a brain rotted Zoomer Gen Alpha adjacent person, and they're probably not going to be particularly, a loyal member of my fan base. There's a small chance that they will be. There's a small chance that they won't be brain rotted. but the chances, I don't think they look good, really.
Um, as far as like
I'm gonna
channels
try
I've
it out, but
subscribed to
the
based on their shorts and not their main content, uh, I think the only YouTubers that qualify under that umbrella would be Kobe Shinobi and Quesadilla Slam, who are both Dragon Ball Z shit posters. But even then, I think I may have like discovered them through shorts, but or I might even be misremembering because they make like an even split of like shorts and main content. Uh, I might even be misremembering. Maybe I discovered them through their main content and then like kept up with them through shorts and uh you subscribe to them through there. But yeah, aside from them, and because they make content anyway that's like beneficial to being short anyway, because they're just impact font voiced over Dragon Ball Z memes with saying outlandish quotable meme things. Uh yeah, I don't follow anyone based on their shorts alone, but shorts are a good tool for growth.
Yeah, unfortunately. Although how valuable that growth is, I think is much more up to interpretation than you would say.
I mean, any numbers go up is good numbers go up.
Not really. Not really.
I mean, like, the more you get viewed, the more you're likely to get pushed, and the more you give you, more people are likely to check out your stuff. No, it's not a
Not
guarantee, but
necessarily.
it's an increase in
If
likelihood.
they Okay, well, here's an example that goes against what you're saying. Because I had shared my video, the Nyan Neko Sugar Girls video on a server. And I was like, watch this now. And someone was like, okay, well, click on it and, then immediately click off, which will put up the view counter. I'm like, no, don't do that. You'll ruin my AVD. Please don't do that. That's, like, actively bad for the video. Number go up doesn't mean gooder. There's nuance to this.
I mean,
There's
there
nuance
there
to,
is
like,
nuance.
how valuable
Retention
shorts
is
views
important.
even are. I don't know. I mean, I'll try it out. Maybe I'll be proven wrong through experimentation. Maybe 3-minute shorts will be awesome. But right now I have my doubts about it.
I mean, you have a week's worth of time to prepare to just highlight a video, determine how long you want the captions to be, and then just get it ready, have it sitting on your computer, and then wait until October 15th when they roll out the update, and be one of the first.
True.
You can strike while the iron is white hot.
I mean, I've seen some channels who do get a fair few subscribers based on shorts, but their main content doesn't get viewed, like, comparative to their sub count. I can't name anyone off the top of my head because I don't remember these guys. I don't watch them consistently.
I
But I've
think there's
seen it happen.
one YouTuber that I think might actually fit that criteria. Let me check their view counts between
Well, see,
videos and
also,
shorts.
if you get a lot of subs from views, or a lot of subs from shorts, rather, and then they don't watch your main content, YouTube will deprioritize your content in the algorithm because it sees you as having dead subs. So, like, it can be harmful. It really can.
Okay, here's a guy who I think fits what you described in a nutshell pretty well. His name is Benchwarmer Bran. He is a NFL YouTuber. He does make videos, and in fact, hilariously, he's going to benefit greatly from the shorts update because he already makes I assume he makes these for Instagram and TikTok, but he makes 1 minute 40 something second fantasy football busts of the week videos, and he already shoots them in the rectangular format. Because before, like years prior, he would keep them to 1 minute, but then he changed the format, so now he's going to benefit from this greatly. But his main channel content, his last video to do over 100,000 views was 3 weeks ago, and then the one before that was 275. Like, he gets good views for his sub count when he actually puts out like a real video and not like a short or like a compilation video. But then you look at his short view count, and they're consistently like plus 500,000. Like he'll get view counts higher than his sub counts.
It's literally like a separate algorithm
Yeah,
for
and
shorts,
currently he
which is
has
just weird.
521,000 subs.
Yeah, I mean, those aren't bad view counts for his like sub count, but even still, like you're essentially garnering two separate audiences with I think less carryover than you would think. And that can be detrimental.
Well, see, yeah, that's what I'm thinking about the short meta change, because now you have more of it's like this weird back and forth where it's like you're now going to be granted the opportunity to show off more of your true self by giving more time to show off content, but then how well are 3-minute shorts highlighting your own content going to fare in an algorithm like shorts, and where it's like originally designed for 60 seconds or less? How will the attention span retain for the full 3 minutes or even like 2 minutes?
Okay, you know what? Here's the plan for the Nyan Neko Sugar Girls video, right? I make this stupid short that's like mostly compiled clips from the Nyan Neko Sugar Girls video, where it's like, "What? Look at this crazy Emma's Paint anime!" And, like, you know, record like a new intro for it, and then the rest of it is just compiled clips from the video that sort of cobble together an explanation of what it is.
Well, I guess we'll see in a week's time. It'll be interesting to see how the landscape changes once again.
Yep, I still hate shorts though. That will last forever.
Uh, we'll see if you have to turn to your greatest enemy in order to see success. Speaking of great success, Frieren's coming back, boys!
Yes, season 2 is in fact announced. Awesome. Great. Wonderful.
Yeah, we'll be.
Is the director confirmed yet?
No, I don't think staff has been confirmed yet. Just that Madhouse will be continuing it. Uh, the one piece of like bad news to come from this, if you're a Bocchi the Rock fan, is that the director, who I'm very upset that his name is blanking on me now, Keiichiro Saito, I want to say. I think that sounds
right.
Yeah. Who directed both Bocchi and Frieren, and is low-key becoming one of like the best directors in the game right now in terms of like TV anime. Uh, if he's coming back to work on Frieren season 2, then Bocchi season 2 might be farther away than we previously thought.
Yeah, but at the same time, both of these, I hope he continues directing both, because his hand in both of these works has been great to see.
Yeah, because Frieren started in fall of 23, right?
That sounds right.
Yeah, and then Bocchi was fall of 22, so it's probably like a year's difference then. Like, what? Tack on one more year to the Bocchi season that we gotta wait for. Granted, I don't think they gave an exact time frame for Frieren season 2 either. They just said that it's coming. So for all we know, we won't be seeing season 2 of Frieren until fall of 25 next year. So maybe Bocchi is like coming in 26, or hell, maybe for all we know, Cloverworks has been silently putting their noses to the grindstone and been grinding out that season 2 with the recap movie coming out. Well, and actually, it's been out, and maybe we'll get Bocchi faster than we thought. It's who knows.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely getting a season 2 of Bocchi. There's literally no way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can't believe I forgot to bring this up during the what we've been up to recently podcast, but maybe it's because it happened as recently as last night. But when Crunchyroll put the Bocchi recap movies in theaters, I took my girlfriend to go see it, all 2 hours and 45 minutes of it, and I was low key worried that she'd been like, "Babe, why wait? Do we have to be here for like the full 3 hours?" But then she literally like 2 minutes in, she was like, "Oh my god, she's so me," and then she ended up loving it.
Another successful convert to the Bocchi cult.
Bro, there were
The Kesoku cult.
sadly the theater was not as packed as Look Back was, but I guess that was to be expected. There was the barely any new content. I don't think there was even like a new scene in the recap movies. I think it was just like there was a new opening which cut together stuff like yeah with some clips from the show, but also some new visuals of like Kita playing basketball. But most of it is just it's just stuff from the show, which is to be expected.
I
But yeah,
mean, I feel like you're forgetting a pretty important part of the recap movie where it's this new movie original scene where Bochi and Kita start aggressively making out on stage after their performance. I feel like that's a pretty big thing to neglect to mention.
damn, they must have left out that scene in my version of the movie. I didn't see that shit.
Oh, really? I mean, the theater, it was like a standing ovation in my theater.
No, actually, the only standing ovation that the theater actually got there weren't a lot of people in it, like I said. But they were definitely diehard Bochi fans. Like I met them in the concession stand and also coming out of the movie. They had Keisoko band T-shirts, and one motherfucker even brought glow sticks, which I'm glad I was sitting in front of him and not behind him.
I mean,
And
having glow sticks for the performance scenes is pretty cool.
yeah, and
But
then
it seems like it would be distracting if you're behind him, yeah.
then at the end of the first part of the recap, because it's split into two halves, the first recap ends with the legendary Nijika line, I want to see Bochi rock, Bochi the rock, and then everyone started cheering and clapping really loud, and I joined them, and my girlfriend lost her shit. Everyone's like, yeah, and like almost doing the fucking critical, like, woo, yeah, baby, and I just
That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about.
and once I saw that everyone was doing that, I jumped out of my chair and went, let's fucking go, and everyone like cheered. It was great. I fucking love anime fans, dude.
Yeah, so we're transitioning from that cheerful bit of, I mean, not really news, but news for Neon's life, into something a bit less sweet.
Why must the good die young?
Shit sucks, man.
Yeah, but Japanese musician Sayuri, famous for doing the EDs for Licorice Recoil and Erased and My Hero Academia Season 4, has sadly passed away. Let me check real quick because the story broke like a couple weeks ago, but I don't think they disclosed her cause of death. I just want to see what she died of, if that came out.
All
Okay,
the posts I'm looking at says is a chronic illness.
Yes. She said she was taking a hiatus due to functional dysphonia, which is basically like hoarseness of the voice. But yeah, on September 27th, her husband Amarashi released a statement that she died on the 20th at age 28. She had a private funeral, and we're not going to be able to get more Sayuri songs, which sucks because she was a good part of the enjoyment of Liko Rico. That was like a kind of a legendary tier ED.
Yeah. I wish I had listened to more of her stuff before going into this podcast. Unfortunately, my main exposure to her is Liko Rico. And then aside from that, I'm looking at all the EDs.
I mean, I
they're
love Tower of
listening-
Flower
or
more than
they're
I
listing.
love what the fuck is the Claris OP song of Liko Rico called? Alive. Yeah, I like Tower of Flower more than Alive.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen the Scum's Wish My Hero Academia Season 4. I haven't listened to any of her stuff from that. My main exposure is her Liko Rico ED, which is good. I do really like the ED. So, she had talent. Shit sucks, man.
It fucking sucks. I wonder if she was gonna come back for season 2. Maybe maybe if we're lucky, if we're blessed, maybe she did record something for season 2, but it maybe didn't. Who knows? Maybe if we're lucky that she made something and it was finished before she passed. So we'll have an in podcast moment of silence for her. All right, and with all the news and stuff out of the way, it's time to get into the catch of the day. Today's featured presentation. Oshi Season 2 is all done, and Season 3 has been announced. Presumably, if the pattern repeats itself, we'll get it next year. What did you think?
These episodes were insane.
Yeah!
Everything happened.
Yeah, we went back
to possibly happened.
Yeah, like, don't get me wrong, the stuff with the play was immaculate, but we've definitely gotten back into Oshino plot now.
見つけ出して絶対に絶対に殺してやる
It's not even Oshino plot, it's Oshino what the fuck. What even is these episodes?
It has taken a strange left turn, the likes of which we have not seen since the first episode of the show.
I will say, right, these episodes, they're good. It definitely hinges a lot on where it goes from here on out and if it can make all these radical plot developments work. Because right now, this show is begging a lot of questions and saying "fuck you" to any answers.
Hey, it's a good thing they announced season 3 at the end like they did. Otherwise,
yeah, if they didn't do that, I would have been like, seriously, you have to immediately announce that season 3, because it's literally it just puts so many questions in your mind and then says, yeah. So anyway, figure it out.
Yeah, not only questions, but they've also fundamentally shifted the dynamic between characters in the most like
Ruby is now Aqua and Aqua is now Ruby. How does that work? Figure it out.
I mean, that's not even a figure it out. They showed you how it works. That's more of a fucking deal with it moment.
I'm being facetious there, but yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous in a good way.
Yeah, I do really like these episodes. It's out of left field, but it's interesting. And I would say, I hesitate to say the best block of episodes in this season, because that, like I said, it hinges a lot on where it goes from here. These episodes will either be great or much worse in retrospect.
I mean, like,
depending on if I think future developments are good. But they're the most attentive I think, throughout this season.
They definitely demand a lot of attention,
like,
and
the
respect.
most what the hell is happening, I want to figure this out. I was the entire season.
Yeah, it's hard for me to pick a favorite block of episodes because the season's just been insanely high quality. Unlike last season,
it's firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, first season there was kind of some dips here and there. Like we get into a bit where it's not as interesting. Like we'll peak with the first episode in the Akane suicide episode, but then we'll kind of like the stuff with the new B Komachi wasn't as interesting. And
I mean, I do sort of notoriously disagree with you on that front. I think season 1 was solid all around. But if season 1 was just laying the groundwork of like, here's what this show is about, here's the general lens through which we are analyzing the entertainment industry, here's just what the characters are about and what they're doing and some emotional resonance therein. Season 2 is like, okay, but what if we went crazy with it? And especially these last 3 episodes, it's no longer we're going crazy with it, we're going full-on unhinged with it. We are no longer hinged.
Yeah, let me I gotta say this. Forgive me, Akasaka, I was unfamiliar with your game. Remember when I was criticizing this season earlier on for not focusing as much on Ruby and the idol stuff as I would have liked to give it like a fair balance between it and the play stuff with Aqua. I take it back because I just didn't see the vision, and now that I've seen the vision, I'm like, okay, you got me.
Ruby
I
is now
concede.
seemingly the main character. Like, I have to imagine she will take front and center stage, at the very least at the beginning of the next season, because she is the protagonist. She's got the protagonist blood in her veins now. She's got the stars in her eyes, literally.
She's got the black murderer. So I love how when she first finds Goro's corpse, the star in her eye shrinks because her will to be an idol like is her main reason for being just like is gone. And then she's like, oh, what's the fucking point anymore? But now that she's gotten like the Aqua drive in her, the Aqua, bloodlust in her veins, she develops both of the black eyes in her pupils now, the black stars.
It's so badass looking.
And yeah, dude, I popped the fuck off when she did her own version of the episode 1 Aqua, I'm gonna find our father and kill him myself. When she had her own version of that, I was like, fuck yes.
Not gonna lie, when I saw where the show was going, and I mean this in like the best way possible, I kind of laughed where I was like, oh, that's unexpected. And then
funny
it kept
when you think
playing
about
it
it.
so straight that I took it seriously. Like,
I mean,
at first I was like, oh, that's goofy, and then I was like, oh wait,
this
is badass actually.
There's definitely a way they could have gone about like fucking this up if they didn't execute it properly, but they executed it so perfectly.
Yeah, they got everything in this block of episodes. It's literally insanity. The show is just going insane, and I love that.
Crunchy, help me out here real quick, because I'm kind of conflicted about season 2 as a whole about something. I feel like I don't have like the enthusiasm about like the whole season holistically to give it a 10 out of 10. Yet at the same time, I think about what are the actual reasons I think it doesn't deserve a 10, like it deserves more of a 9, and I'm coming up short.
I think because I mean, spoiler alert, I gave it a 9. Even though I do think it's better than season 1 holistically.
It's definitely better than season 1.
I think it's firing on all cylinders too. But I think Oshi no Ko, I know what I'm trying to say, I just don't know how to word it.
There's no low point this season. Like there's no lull. It's all like consistently amazing. There's never a drop in like animation or art quality.
It's being peak Oshi no Ko, but not necessarily peak fiction. That is the statement I have come to.
Like there's no moment that resonated emotionally with me to the point where it's like, yes, this deserves a 10. But like at the same time, is that really a fair thing to say to deny it a 10 out of 10? Because I can't think of like a criticism I can give the season overall that is like a damning enough like critique to knock it down a point.
Well, okay, but a 10 out of 10, at least in my eyes, isn't about being flawless or not having a single lull. It's about doing enough that resonates with me specifically that I think it is worthy of the peak fiction title, the ultimate 10 out of 10 claim. And in that sense, I don't think it is quite enough of what I resonate with to be just peak fiction, straight 10 out of 10. Even though, once again, 9 out of 10, a pretty strong one at that. I do love it. I think it does almost everything right because, if I think about my favorite shows of all time, like Dragon Maid, for example, Dragon Maid is just so my thing, and I feel like, it just hits such high highs for me personally, where it's like every second of it is pure joy and ecstasy, and I love watching it, and it's greatness, every bit of it. Whereas Oshi no Ko Season 2, it's a bit more imbalanced, I guess, or more so that it just doesn't hit quite as hard to me personally. It doesn't resonate. It doesn't have that soul resonance like in Soul Eater. It's not quite there yet.
Yeah, like there was no one moment that like jumped out to me like, oh, this was like made for people like me that I see in shit like Dragon Maid or even stuff that I didn't give a 10 to, but like if it were better produced like Zom 100, I would have given a 10 to. But at the same time, like there's still plenty of moments that I thought, oh, this is like fucking awesome. Like the whole Abiko thing it's crazy how Abiko became a non-character after the her arc basically. And but still they got me to care about a brand new character and a minor character from season 1. They got me invested in their plot together for one episode. They got me invested in the fucking melt dude who from season 1 they did it again, another minor character I didn't care about before, and they got me invested in him. The directing was great, the animation was great, the performances were great. There was a lot of Kino moments. I can't in good conscience give it a 9 without feeling guilty. Like it doesn't deserve a 9. It does nothing so bad that the gate keeps it out of a 10.
So, are you going with the 10 or are you going with the 9? Because I'm rocking the 9. I feel safe with my 9 score.
It's hard. Like if I give it a 10, it will be the least enthusiastic 10 out of 10 I've ever given an anime before. But at the same time, it's like what I can't point to anything being wrong with it. It's just a solidly made show that has a lot of peak exciting moments that they, at the end of the day, like that's what a show should do. That's what a show should
but
be.
I don't know if that's what makes a 10 is my basic argument. No, it doesn't. Like I said, it just doesn't resonate with me, or it doesn't hit high enough heights and do enough to quite push it over that threshold.
But it never hits a low enough to
have.
Cause
Yeah, but like okay, but I mean, I'm thinking about this in terms of like okay, one of my favorite shows of all time. Another example, Barakamon. Barakamon is like my favorite artist's journey show that I've seen. I mean, Bakuman, when I read the manga for that, inevitably might become, my new favorite artist's journey thing. But Barakamon just, it speaks to me so specifically. It has so, Seishu Honda is like the best protagonist ever. I get so excited even thinking about that show and how good every single second of it is. It's immaculately directed. Every single character is lovable, and I love how it portrays the artist's journey as like something that is a little painful, where you have to recognize the flaws within your art as well as within yourself. The main character does work himself to sickness just through pure overwork, and you see his like pure dedication to his craft and like borderline perfectionistic attitude. Now that'll cause, stress within him, but at the same time, just pure jubilation whenever he finally gets a piece that he's satisfied with. Everything about that, just even talking about it, I'm getting excited and want to rewatch the show because it is one of the best things I've ever seen. I don't think Oshinoko Season 2 can quite elicit that feeling from me, where it's like, when I think about Oshinoko Season 2, I'm like, yeah, that is solid. Every second of that was great. I truly do love the show. I think it is a 9, but thinking about it doesn't get me pumped up in the same way that Barakamon does.
Maybe it's because it's the new hotness and we're not being starved for it like we are things like Dragon Maid, where we have to wait 5 years between anime installments, or even Dragon Ball, where even though it's like the biggest thing in the world, we still gotta wait like 5 years between anime installments, or well, more like a couple years, but still, it's not as frequent as it once was. So maybe the frequency and the rate that we're getting at means I don't have to like I have to like pray on my hands and knees that maybe God will smile upon me and Doga Kobo will come out and say, you know what, new game season 3 coming next year. Because, like, yeah, New Game is a show that, like, it does resonate with me. And if I heard an announcement for season 3, I would, like, bounce off the fucking walls. But when I think about the show holistically, I'm like, yeah, it's great. I love watching it. It's an 8 out of 10. But, like, it has its moments. But, like, if you ask me, like, what I'd be emotionally more excited for to see, it would be New Game Season 3 versus Oshi no Ko Season 3. But if you ask me what's the better show, I'm going to say Oshi no Ko hands down.
Well, maybe our discussion will help elucidate this conundrum for you. Maybe,
Yeah, but
maybe you can decide on your number score as we talk about it.
all right, so first things first, Kana Arima continues to be a fashion icon and continues to be cute as a button. So that's a big
feel
point
like
in
you're
favor of the
missing
show so
something,
far.
though. Which is that Kana Arima took the biggest, fattest L this block of episodes, and I am here for it. She took the ultimate L, alright? Because at the end, Aqua, spoiler alert, Aqua, he chooses Akane. Kana is, narratively, right, within the canon of the show, canonically, objectively, the side bitch.
Now, hold
She
on.
is the side bitch.
Hold on a second. There's still time. There's still Kana Bros. Hold on to hope. There's still a chance.
I mean, okay, to be fair, both Kana and Akane will eventually be the side bitch to Ruby, but you know.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is the true ending. That if you have any media literacy whatsoever, that is where we're headed.
Whoa.
This is a joke. This is a joke. But yeah, Aqua does kiss Akane. Kana Bros. We'll hold the L. We'll take the L on the chin, but it's not over. Do not lose
Massive,
hope. Kana Army.
undisputable L.
No,
Aqua sees it right. Aqua sees it right.
Nah, no. He only likes her because she's she can manipulate her, and she's okay with being manipulated. Kana Arima is an independent young woman.
Okay, but speaking of Kana being based, all right. So in the last block of episodes rather, Aqua, you know, he busts out the ad lib, and it's pure sexism, and Kana cheers that on, you know, champions it. And then this episode, she does something just as based, right? No, she's lamenting, she is seething over modern day, you know, it's all about gender equality nowadays. He's not gonna pay for my meal. No, it's just, we're also equal. Kana's on her sexism arc. She I'm
Her
telling you,
anti-feminism arc.
there was ferocity in that line. I felt hatred in it.
I mean, hey, yo, Kana Arima and Kazuma Sato, the true champions of gender equality. You love to see it. But yeah, everything with Kana is great as always. Like, so many more moments. She has the most clippable moments, dude. The most screen capable and the most clippable moments. When she's like thinking about what to wear, being like to the date with Aqua, being like cute, sexy, and trying out all the different outfits, thinking what he would like most. When she's running through the date idea in her head, being like, wait, why did he rent a taxi? Is he going to take me to a love hotel? Oh, he just took me home. And when she's doing her idol recording in the lake in her bare feet when it's cold out, and she's like maintaining her composure, but then when they say cut, she goes towel.
Yeah, I get the sense that the people drawing Kana often did so with one hand. Just throughout this show.
I mean, bro, even when in the hot spring, when she is walking out to join Akane in the hot spring, she strikes a pose. She puts her hand behind her head and the other hand on her hip. Like even when she's just in anime cloud censorship, she's still fashion as fuck.
Look, all I'm saying is, even with the good fashion choices, Kana fans stay losing. Aqua, he presumably stayed loyal to the winning side, the true side, for the 6 entire months, because we get that time skip at the end. All right, he's not backing down from his choice. You're losing.
Well,
You're
we'll
losing
see about
so
that.
hard.
Enjoy
Until
your 1
Ruby,
year of W's
you know.
while you can, because something tells
Yeah,
me you're gonna take a
obviously.
fat L real quick.
Oh, does he know spoilers that I don't?
No, I have faith in the Kana incarnation.
Yeah, well, we all know who's truly winning this love triangle.
Not
I guess not really a
MEM-cho.
love triangle, but a harem.
Thank God MEM-cho gets no bitches. Too much of a hag.
She is not a part of the harem because she's just too old for the mentally like 40-year-old.
One more thing about Kana though. So I'm trying to find where my exact note on it was. I love how she. Oh, okay, no, yeah, here we go. It was fucked up how of Doga Kobo to show Kana in the eye death pose.
That was out of pocket.
And you know what? That's the only reason why he's not with Kana. There it is right there. He's not with Kana to protect her because he fears that if he pursues a relationship with an idol, she could end up the same way that I did. Whereas it's fine with an actress like Akane. So he's settling. He's settling for the side bitch.
No, because he was about to make the wrong choice, break up with Akane, right? Worst mistake he could possibly make. But then, he found the resolve within himself. He was like, I'm free. I manipulated you for the last time to find my dead body. And now it's like, oh, every last aspect of this thriller story that I was going to go down, it's all gone. I can rest easy. And now I can, I can make you my true wife, Akane.
Yeah, kid.
Like,
keep
settling,
performing
he's
those
found
mental
true
gymnastics.
Yeah, sure.
You'll take home the gold medal. The true fans know that he's gonna get together back with Kana for the first time.
Look, I will say Akane does take a minor L in this block of episodes, though, and it's when she's putting on that filter on her photo, and Aqua's like, I'm pretty sure no, first he's like, why are you putting those dots on your face? And she's like, oh, it covers up all my acne and blemishes on my face. And Aqua's like, I'm pretty sure all guys find that disgusting. And I'm like, based Aqua. Holy based. He's spitting facts. Why do they do that? It always looks tacky and bad.
I see the Kana sexism arc has now influenced you enough to bring it out in the podcast.
It has influenced me.
Yet another Kana W. Yeah, but yeah, like we said, everything in this block is great. Now that we're done with the play, we're focusing on Ruby and the B Komachi stuff and the idol stuff. We're going down to I forget what it was called. What was the place called? Like Miyazaki or something?
It was literally Miyazaki, and I remember it because we're watching a Hayao Miyazaki film as well.
I hate to tell you this, but Miyazaki did not direct Whisper of the Heart.
Wait, am I misremembering? Hold on. He did
I think he wrote it, but he did not direct it.
I did not know that. Let me check.
Yeah, it was directed by Yoshifumi Kondo.
Oh, Yoshifumi.
But it's based on a book, but it was written by Miyazaki, so it does have his energy in it.
Okay, well, there you go. He's still tangentially related to it.
Unfortunately, well, actually, we'll save that part for the discussion because I'll tie into it. But back to Oshinoko. Yeah, they're going down to Miyazaki to film a music video / take a mini vacation after the play. And while there, by pure happenstance, it just so happens to be the place where I was giving birth to Ruby and Aqua, and the same place that Sarina. Hang on, was it Sarina or Sarita? I don't want to get flamed in the comments.
I think it's Sarina.
Okay.
Hopefully I'm not wrong on that.
Yes, Sarina and Goro both met their untimely ends at that hospital, one via cancer and one via murder. So Aqua takes his time to like his last bit of closure to see if he can find his old corpse, the dead body of Goro on Nanamini, and just finally like see if he can get any like last embers of his revenge finally put out to get some final closure. We also get some neat backstory on Goro that we didn't really get before. We part of the reason why he's so like into this murder quest is because when he was born, his mother died in childbirth because she kept the pregnancy a secret and also kind of had a douchebag father. So when that happened, he got like a view on a strict view on parenting, being like, man, if you like aren't good enough to like look after your kids, you're a fucking deadbeat and you deserve to die. And so he forms this kind of father-daughter relationship with Sarita while looking after her in the hospital, and is as we know, got his love for idols from Sarita because she was such a big idol fan. She wanted to be an idol like I growing when she wanted to grow up, but she couldn't because cancer. So she's like, please love idols in my stead, just so like a part of me can live on through you, sensei. And so he does to honor her memory, and that leads us all to the series of events that brings us here now. He tries to find the body to no avail, but then thanks to the help of what I can only assume is death, like the personification of death, as a white-haired crow leading anime girl. Ruby and Akane stumble upon Goro's body hidden away behind some like little cavern, and this fucks up Ruby enough to get her on on her Aqua shit, on her I need to kill a motherfucker arc.
She literally has the same revelation that he does, and is like, yeah, I need to kill that motherfucker.
In the same like crazy animation cut too, where the stars in both her eyes turn black, and then it gets all wavy and intense and well animated. Oh, it's great, so great.
Dude, that shot of her in the river with the crow feathers around her, that is wallpaper material. That could be a desktop background.
I kind of wanted to make it mine.
I screenshotted it and was tempted, but no, I'm keeping Josu's drawing of my bedroom.
I also love how the director behind the music video takes her new intense energy and incorporated it into the music video that plays at the end of the episode. So now like it still maintains like the cuteness of like Mem and Kana, and there is some still cute bits of Ruby too, but then it kind of like plays up Ruby's more intense, captivating energy rather than like her sugary sweet look at me persona. And then it like changed the tone of the music video, and it helped make it into a big hit. And now 6 months have passed. We've got Akane and Kana going into their third years, Ruby and Aqua in their second years, and now Bikomachi is getting pretty popular.
Yeah, I mean, like we've been saying, everything changes, and personally, I think it makes Ruby immediately like twice as interesting. I'm way more invested in her now, and I need to know where her story goes from here.
I know, right? Like Ruby was
like
my least favorite character, aside from the devil herself, MEM-cho, coming out of season 1, because like her arc was not bad. Like her goal of becoming an idol like her mom was good, and to live it out in a way that she wasn't able to in her old cancer body. But now that she's on her murder quest, I'm like, oh, now she's like plot relevant. Actually, now she's gonna be the driving force, and I wonder if she's going to pull Aqua back into the fray. Like just when I thought it was out, she pulls me back in. Like I can't do this alone, brother.
Also, seemingly has figured out that was why Aqua was so driven to be in the, acting industry, where, she like thinks to herself like, man, Aqua, like I hope you find that guy someday. I hope you like fucking kill him. Hope you get him. That would be cool.
It seems like she was, yeah, the way they portrayed it is like it implied that she knew that he had that murderous intent, but it seemed like she would have been okay with if he like did kill him, the guy, but at the same time, like it didn't look like she was actively like, yeah, go Aqua, yeah, fucking slit his throat, drink his blood, like, all right, if you kill him, you kill him, like, it won't be any skin off my nose.
Yeah, she's not like ravenous about it.
Yeah, but now
she's very much okay with it.
Now she's like, drinking the blood isn't enough. I need to inject it into my own veins and just to improve my superiority.
Well, yeah, and also it seems like a recent revelation on her end as well, where she was like, asking Akane questions about like, hey, what was Aqua doing back there? Like, he seemed like weirdly driven. Got any insight in that? And she's kind of like having Akane, like it feels like she's come to this understanding and is just sort of working it out in her head as she's asking Akane this. And oh yeah, Aqua also admits what he was doing to Akane. So now we've got two. Actually, I'm pretty sure the director also knew. Like the guy who was essentially functioning as Aqua's new dad, kind of.
Maybe. I don't know if he knows about the murder thing, but
he knows a little bit at least. He's slightly
he knows that that's why Aqua wants to be in the business.
So we've got 2.5 people. Let's put it that way. 2.5 people who know.
And the gentleman that he is, he refuses to bring a delicate little flower like Kana into the fold.
Nah, I think that's just another L on her end, because, he was fine admitting that to Akane, not Kana.
Yeah, because she's a psychopath. She's a sociopath in the making.
But that's based. That's based. Mental illness Riz wins again.
I mean, it was really cute when Akane, in that one gag of Akane secretly taking photos of Kana while she and Ruby were posing in front of that statue. And then when Kana shows up in her idol outfit, Akane makes a bunch of adjustments and tells her she's cute, but then like inside she's like, "Oh my god, I get to tell Kana she's cute. Oh, she's so cute."
That did fill me with pure joy. I loved that scene because I thought she was gonna go off on her, and then they do the complete opposite, and I'm like, "Oh, this is based." Maybe Kana Chads and Akane Chads can work together instead of being enemies.
Maybe the only way we can do that it truly ends in the harem ending.
Well, the harem ending would include Ruby.
Well, you know what? She's already based for bringing up age gaps, and then Akane being like, "I guess 10 years is fine."
Yeah, what was up with that conversation? Like, that was weirdly out of pocket.
I mean, well, Sarina has a crush on Goro.
Yeah, I know.
But like, it's cute when she was a kid because she was dying. Goro was the nicest person to her entire life, and so she was like, "Oh, it's like the child thing. Like you look up to someone who's not your mom or your dad so much that as an older figure that you conflate like love, like romantic love for like parental figure love." So
well, see, I get why Ruby is like that. Like, that line makes perfect sense from Ruby.
But then Akane comes out and
Akane is I think it's Akane being in on it, like agreeing with it. That's the weird part. Where it's like, I think
Akane bro's
cool.
taking another L. She
Arguably
said,
a W. I'm a YouTuber, so I'm
mental maturity. She says mental maturity is the most important thing. So I guess 10 years is fine. All right, Akane.
God.
Well,
that's 12 and 22, by the way. That would fit within that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what if like it's a 16-year-old who's mentally mature and you're 26, huh? Is it okay then?
Akane is having like straight up Sneeko takes up in here.
Yeah, and that's why Kana bros will always take W's, Because she ain't no dang pedophile.
I mean, Akane isn't the pedophile, she's just the pedophile supporter.
I don't know. If Akane saw young Aqua, I don't know. She'd be like, I could groom that kid.
That would be her exact thought. I'll groom him.
I'm gonna groom him so fucking hard.
I'm gonna groom him till his hair is never messy again.
And let's be even more real. If Akane were her own age still, but Kana was when she was a kid, it might be even go double.
Oh god. So glad to hear my favorite character is on her pedophilia grind set. Hope she becomes a famous YouTuber one day.
She's become an actor, so she's going about it the normal way, the mainstream way.
I see. She's gonna be found on Epstein's Island one of these days. I swear.
Nah. That's not good enough. She's gonna have her own island.
She's gonna run it. Kurokawa's Island.
So I guess like we kind of brushed upon everything already. I guess the two things we should really go in on that we haven't really talked about already are we finally get a good look at Ai's lover slash killer, and we get introduced to, for lack of a name right now, we'll just call it Death, because what else could she be?
I don't know how to feel about the silver-haired kid, because she's very much in the know. Like, for whatever reason,
there's no way she's a real person. Like, it has to be non-diegetic.
I mean, yeah, the thing that trips me up about her is that, like, this isn't a world where, I mean, okay, magic does kind of exist, because reincarnation. But it seems really out of pocket to have a character this mystical and weird. Like, this feels like a Monogatari character. That was my thought.
I mean,
that was literally like, this character is so illogical, it feels like straight out of Monogatari.
Yeah, in the when we see her in the opening every time, and then when we see her in the teaser from the last block of episodes, I was thinking, oh, what does she know that we don't? But then I thought she was still just gonna be a normal person, and maybe she was like a daughter of Ai's killer, and like another half sibling of the two, and that she would be like, ooh, I know like a lot more about my dad than you know. I know he's not actually dead. He's very, very much alive. But what ends up happening is that she's got to be Death, right? Because she's always depicted hanging around a bunch of crows, and it's a crow that leads Ruby and Akane to Goro's corpse, and she is like, she's sitting in a tree observing. She says she knows like all about the shit where there's no way that she should know when she's a kid. So she's got to be like Death.
You do have a good theory. I'm sure there's going to be something else to it, but she can't be like entirely literal. There has to be something weird going on.
There's no way she's
not
a
real
normal
person.
She has to be Death. She has to be
if
magic.
She's a normal
in some
person,
way.
Then that is the stupidest thing ever. And there's no way this show is that dumb. Like,
no.
she has to be some weird mystical metaphor, not quite a person. Something weird is up with her, and depending on what that something weird is, it'll be either great or, I mean, I doubt it'll be bad. I have enough faith in this show to imagine that the twist will be good. Just like their dad twisting the knife on some poor girl.
Yeah. Was it a knife? It just looks like she fell.
Yeah, I don't know if he had a knife, but I do remember, like, she's bleeding to death. She dies.
Well, yeah, what he says
right
to her
at the very end.
And curiously, she also has the stars in her eyes, so I can't imagine she's related to Ai and everyone. So what I imagine is she must be an idol like Ai and has that, like, you know, star power quality. But and then this guy just probably gets off to snuffing out those lights. That's my working theory. And then his line to her is, "Ooh, I told you should have watched your step."
Yeah, so she probably fell. You're right.
And he probably pushed her.
Almost certainly. So
Yes.
he's still out there, and by the way, Akane knows that he's still out there. Akane has deduced this in her head. There's a flaw in Aqua's theory.
Yeah.
She has gone from the Watson to the Sherlock. She knows what's up.
Yeah,
Or I guess
she
Ruby
never
is more so the
divulges
Sherlock
why there's a
now.
loophole or like what the loophole even is, but she does like keep to herself like Aqua is like so okay with like letting go of his like making peace with his father's death and giving up on his revenge that she realizes something that he doesn't. What that is, we don't know, but surely that will be revealed next season.
Yeah, Ruby will probably be the one to figure that out, if I had to guess. Like she's now on her mystery, her own thriller quest to find out who their dad really is.
Yeah, we get a good look at him. He's got the dark stars in his eyes, and he does look like just a grown up Aqua. So it does check out.
Yeah. And with that,
Yeah,
is
what
there
his
anything
deal
else
is, we
need
don't
to-
know for sure yet. I'm sticking with my
Yeah.
theory that he just gets off on snuffing out the lights of popular famous idols.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine there's something deeper to it. Because, I mean, considering how twisty this show has been, especially in these past few episodes, I have to imagine there is some deeper motivation to him than just, I'm a psychopath, I like killing people.
So you just gotta wait and see. And with the announcement of season 3, and hopefully it doesn't get delayed a couple times like this season did, it will be
I
in
hope they
good
take their
hands.
time with it. Because, I mean, these seasons have been coming out yearly. Well, almost yearly. A little over a year, but even still. I think it's a miracle that the show looks as good as it does, quite frankly. Because anime was not supposed to be made on that tight of a deadline.
Yeah,
As
honestly,
evidenced
like
by this show getting delayed.
season 1 of Oshino Ko came out in summer last year, right?
Yeah.
So I think what they
No,
should do.
spring.
Oh, spring?
I'm pretty sure it was spring.
Mi-
Might have been summer.
Let me double check real quick. 'Cause it's definitely either summer or spring. It was not winter. Season
It was.
1.
Yep, it was spring.
Okay,
April
so
to
a
June.
year and a season. So, I'm cool with waiting until winter 2026 to get an additional 3 months for them to crank out a good 12 something episodes of no delays.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, even longer than that, I'd be fine with, just to make sure they cook with it. But it's Doga Koba. They've become a factory that just puts out as much anime as possible. I'm sure it'll be here as soon as possible. Unfortunately.
Oh, that we can just pray that they maintain the quality. By the way, this discussion has not helped me in the slightest. I'm still thinking that it deserves a 10.
All right. Well, I'll be excited to see what you end up scoring it. But for now, I mean, I'm rocking my 9. I do not see myself backing off of that. But season 3, like at this rate, if it pulls off everything right and just maximizes my investment in the plot, I don't you know what it is? I don't think we've had a single like individual episode that I liked as much as episode 6 of season 1.
That
Because
was the
even though
Akane
this
episode,
season,
right?
yes. This season is
Um,
holistically better, but I still think episode 6 is my favorite.
I suppose that's fair to say. It just never hits a low point. Like but on like sheer technical achievement alone, and like, and it's not like it's like oh, I'm consuming like everything. We have the whole series of podcasts gushing about how peak it is, and how many all the scenes were good. All like we got us invested in characters like Abiko, who we never met before, and the mangaka from the last season who we didn't give a shit about before, but now we do.
You know what? If this season had like a couple episodes that were on par with, let's say, episode 6 of season 1. Just those, because I made an entire video about episode 6 of season 1. I liked it that much. If we got some episodes that good, I'd probably be upping my score a bit. And if season 3, it's possible. I think season 3 could absolutely deliver on that. And probably also deliver on, the Ruby X Aqua ship that is brewing, once in the background, now in the foreground. Well, soon to be in the foreground, I guess.
It's just that all of like the writing was so good, all of the narrative.
You know what's crazy? You rate Love is War a 10 out of 10, and then this is also by Aka Akasaka. I have a feeling he might be up there as, like, one of your favorite writers.
We might have to slot Akasaka in the GOAT tier. Because
based on what I've seen of Love is War, and I'm caught up on Oshi no Ko now, he's probably GOAT tier. I'd say that's fair.
Yeah, I think I gotta give it a 10. Like, it's not one that I'm enthusiastic about, that I'm like, going over the moon, but like, I can't think of a reason against it. Like, I'd feel like an asshole otherwise.
My reason against it is 10s are something I'm inherently enthusiastic about. So there you go.
Well, I want people to watch Oshi no Ko. I think this is a big front runner for anime of the year.
Yeah, it's just a matter of, I don't know. I don't think it quite matches up with my other 10s. Granted, I need to rewatch most of my 10s because I have a feeling a lot of them won't be 10s anymore if I rewatch them by my current standards. But
Yeah. So, speaking of talking about things that are 10 out of 10, that'll do her for Oshi no Ko. Go watch it if you haven't already for whatever reason. But now we're switching over to Studio Ghibli's Whisper of the Heart as your reward for finally completing the Nyan Neko Sugar Girls video.
It's terrible. 0 out of 10. Worst movie I've ever seen.
Ah, thank God. All right, well, if you enjoyed the podcast and want to hear more of our objectively correct takes, registered trademark.
Look, I had to do it to you. You can't just set up a transition that good and not have me undermine it completely.
Yeah, that is true.
You must eat like a pig. That lunch is enormous.
Huh? Hey, you!
Concrete roads everywhere I go.
It's my dad, you jerk!
All right, Crunchy. So, what are your actual opinions on the movie? I told you to in one of the previous podcasts to check this movie out as a reward for finishing the Nyan Neko Sugar Girls video, because you would enjoy it the most having finished your big project. So, what did you think?
Well, I guess right before I give you my take on the movie, there's something I'm curious about, because when I pitched the idea of watching Whisper of the Heart for the podcast to you, because we're putting it in place of look back, unfortunately, there were no showings in my area. So we were instead watching Whisper of the Heart. Well, that's my idea that I pitched because you wanted me to watch it anyway. You said, yeah, I could rewatch Whisper of the Heart. But as soon as you said that, I had an inkling, and I'm fairly certain I already know the answer to this. Did you actually rewatch it, or are you going off of your previous viewing?
I was not able to finish a rewatch of it, because of the hurricane stuff that
so you
ate
started
up into
one.
my schedule. What was that?
You started a rewatch?
Yeah, I started
That's
a rewatch.
way more than I expected. I expected you to be like, at the last minute, I've already seen this. I can go without it.
It is still very fresh in my memory. I only saw it like a month ago.
Yeah.
And because it's now one of my favorite movies of all time, it is very much fresh in my memory. All the big plot points, all the moments that made me tear up, everything that the movie represents and is about. Plus, I also checked out Shafe's Whisper of the Heart video that I didn't watch because I wanted to watch the movie first.
That was why I didn't watch it as well, but now I can do that.
Yeah, so what do you think?
It is really stinking good. It is not a 10 out of 10, though. I wouldn't
How
go
dare
that
you.
far. I know, crazy. It's an 8.
I'll give it
It's really
an
it's yeah,
8.
it's a crazy day when an 8 out of 10 is considered too low for the movie. That it's like some insane take. But I mean,
This should have been
it's
crunchy
great.
coated AF.
You know, it is specifically the third act. The third act is easily my favorite of the entire movie, where she's working hard on this novel, where God, and the parts that I connected with the most are like her staying up till 4 a.m. to work on this goddamn novel, just being like right up against her self imposed deadline and needing to get this out no matter what. Those are the parts that I connected with the most. But I think the rest of the movie doesn't hit as hard for me personally. So I mean, I guess we can get into it more as we discuss the film. But it's really good, great even. I don't think it's a masterpiece.
Well, all right. Well, we gotta get to the bottom of this immediately. How is it not a masterpiece to creators like you and I?
Well, you know, it's less even about, oh, this movie makes some key missteps. It does some things that are bad and that it shouldn't have done. I mean, there's like some minor things I could pick at, but otherwise, like, they're really tiny in the grand scheme of things and could have been made up for, rather, if it's hard to put into exact words, but it's like I was saying with Oshinoko season 2, right? Where it's like it's not a 10 because it made some, key errors. There were like some things it did wrong. Now I want to punch it in the face cuz it did those things wrong. It's more like it's just I don't think like okay. For example, the protagonist isn't my favorite protagonist. I probably don't love her as much as you do. And I feel that way about
You deserve
all
to
of
have
the
your head curb stomped on the pavement.
No, I
Shizuku is a gem and should be protected at all costs.
I do like her, but I mean, I could and this isn't even a good comparison, but this is just because it's the other thing we covered on the podcast. Like I like the characters in Oshinoko more. It's just little things like that where it's not even that it's making key missteps, but more so that it's just not enough of the things that would typically elevate a movie for me in my mind. You know, although there is, I will admit, a part of me that also does feel guilty putting this a score lower than Oshinoko season 2. Because whereas that was, really well directed, especially for a TV anime, this is like masterful. This is intricate. Like every visual in this movie is beautiful, and there is a part of me that wants to raise the score just based on the visual craftsmanship of the film. It is I mean, this was expected, but I was astonished at how much I did enjoy the shots of just Shizuku walking around town or people going about their daily lives, which is a huge emphasis of the directing, of just showing the town, showing people doing things in like an everyday setting. Stuff like that where it's just so intricately rendered that even though I do think it's a little excessive at times, even though I probably would have liked
Excessive.
yeah, there are a lot of shots of just the city happening. But even
Yeah,
still,
it's to establish a sense of place and setting and
yeah, I
help
get
drive home
that.
how relatable Shizuku is.
I still do think it's a little much at times. It does bog down the pacing a little bit at the beginning. But even still, with how intricately rendered they are, it's hard to be too hung up on it. Even though once again, I do think it goes on a little long at times. But it does as good of a job at doing that as it possibly could in terms of each individual shot containing just so much detail. And to hammer this home even more, in the credits scene, it's just the people walking on a bridge, just a bridge with people on it. And I watched that whole damn credits sequence. I stayed there for the entire thing, just
Yeah, because
watching the
it's
people go by.
pleasant.
It is pleasant. So yeah, that's definitely something that bumps up the movie for me, where it's just so visually beautiful. I guess I've been talking for a while, so why don't I mean, I'm sure you want to gush about it, so, tell me, tell me about the masterpiece that is Whisper of the Fart.
I'm gonna kill you. All right, so Whisper of the Heart centers around Shizuku, our protagonist. She's a middle schooler who's currently tasked with writing a sort not parody, but like a different version, like a fan cover of "Take Me Home, Country Roads," about her hometown where she goes to the school, and she finds enjoyment in like writing these new lyrics because she likes writing. She enjoys being a wordsmith and crafting, messages with words. That's what she finds she enjoys most in life. And she enjoys reading. She enjoys all kinds of narrative. She's going to the library constantly. When she checks out a book, she's got her checkout marker logged in the library log on nearly every book. But then she discovers that in a bunch of books she's been checking out recently, they all have been checked out by the same person, Seiji Amasawa. And she's like, dang, that's a weird coincidence. They're all checked out by the same person. I wonder why. Like, I wonder if this Seiji person's like a creative writer, or like someone who enjoys the same kind of stuff I do. It'd be cool if we could meet and hang out and stuff. And so she's just going about her daily life, and daily life slice of life hijinks ensues. It's really adorable when she finds a fat cat that gets on the train next to her and just sits down like almost like a person.
Screw
and
the stuff about writing. That was the most relatable part of the movie. I could see myself doing exactly that.
See, you wouldn't be able to restrain yourself from being able to pet the cat. She just sat there. I love the little face she makes to the camera. She's blushing, just looking like facing straight forward, only like looking at the cat from the corner of her eye, and not like turning her head to look it dead on. It's like it's like the shot from Spirited Away, but like it's like a predecessor to the shot from Spirited Away, but it's just really cute.
This movie has a slight fixation on cats, especially with the Baron later on. And I love that. I like cats. I'm a cat person. So that was great to watch. Probably one of the most entertaining scenes of just showing once again the city and putting us in the setting and just showing a relatively
the way
ordinary
she
scene
follows the
within it.
cat around and sees like all like how the cat will jump on top of a gate just to fuck with a dog, just be for no reason other than to fuck with it.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. There's definitely a lot of little details in this film. And
Yeah, it's like I know it's not a Miyazaki directed movie. He only wrote this one, and it was directed by Yoshifumi Kondo, who sadly passed away only 3 years after this movie came out. It was the only film he directed, and it's a goddamn tragedy.
well, I think he did a great job on this one, as previously
Yeah, it's like
established.
yeah, it's like how the how Hayao Miyazaki maps the setting. When we see Shizuku following the cat around the town, and like following into a neighborhood she's unfamiliar with, into
That
like across
actually,
the gate.
now that you've said that, that's another thing that I related to that I don't think you would, because I live in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, and unfortunately my bike's broken, and I've been too lazy to fix it. But back when it wasn't broken, I would ride around on country roads, you could say. Country roads that would take me home eventually, but I'd just drive out into the middle of nowhere. And eventually got to the point where I was riding so far out that I just discovered this little village that I'd never seen before, that I, like, not even driving by on car. And I was like, oh my god. It's like this new place that I've never been to before. I didn't even know this existed. What the hell? So
Yeah,
I got that
I used to do
exact
something like that
same
when I was
vibe from her
younger.
doing that.
Back in when I lived in Michigan, when I would take my bike down on the sidewalk, and I just bike to places that I would have driven by multiple times, but like never actually checked out until then. And so like I wasn't able to explore the winding geometry and architecture of like the back alleys of a Japanese architecture, which has like a pond or a lake in the background. That was really pleasant. That God, place Japan, fucking place Japan.
What if the Place Japan meme was real all along? Maybe it was justified.
Yeah, and so she follows this cat around until she discovers this antique shop that she had never seen before, run by this old man named Nishi, and she discovers this cute little cat statue that the owner calls the Baron, and she's like enraptured by it, thinks it's just the bee's knees, and she's like, "Wow, this antique shop is lit, fam. I want to like come by more often if that's okay." And so like she visits whenever she can, and then she later finds out that the boy that has been giving her the business sometimes by like reading her lyrics, kind of poking fun at them, and joking about like how much she eats with the lunch that she was bringing to her dad, just kind of trolling her. It
I
turns
like
out
the
that
scene where she calls him a jerk. Like, no, he he makes fun of her lyrics for the concrete roads bit, and then she calls him a jerk like the entire way home. Then she's home and still saying it as she's getting stuff from the fridge. It's bothered her that much.
she's maulding the entire
She
walk
is literally
home.
molding, seething, coping.
He is Seiji, who we find out that boy is in fact the Seiji from the library books, that he did all in an effort to get her to notice him, which is adorable. Be like, hey, I'm not exactly like a big reading type. I just figured that if I checked out a bunch of books, maybe you'd notice me. And I thought that was cute. And like the whole thing, he's kind of a sweetheart deep down, even though like he on the outside he's like kind of a not a playboy, but like a teaser, like haha, like your lyrics, I'm gonna poke fun at you, kind of a troll. He's actually kind of like a hopeless romantic deep down, especially towards the end of the movie.
Yeah, Seiji is very well characterized. I definitely agree with that. Just I just love how pissed off she gets at him early on. Now she's like, "Oh, you're Seiji Yamasawa?" I imagined him being like handsome and quiet.
Yeah, she's like mad at him for being Seiji Yamasawa. Like, no, you this prick. And then you can't be. My vision is ruined. My dream, my idealized fantasy is ruined because of you.
Yeah, those interactions
it's
are
so
the funniest
adorable
of the movie in my eyes.
Yeah, the whole scene where like she discovers his passion of making violins and learning to play them is, and she's like, wow, you're actually like kind of deep. You actually have a dream at your young age that you want to pursue. I kind of like don't know exactly what I want to do yet. Like I enjoy writing, but I never really, legitimately thought about turning it into a viable career before. And so they have the whole scene where in like pure Ghibli magic anime fashion, they start performing Take Me Home Country Roads together. He plays the violin, she sings, and then when Nishi and his friends come over and they hear them playing, they just pull out their instruments. They don't even interrupt the performance. They just join in. And it's like a Disney moment.
That was like one of my favorite scenes of the movie. Probably one of yours as well.
If you don't get filled with the warm fuzzies during that scene, you don't have a soul. You have coal where your heart should be.
I don't know how someone could watch that and not feel something. Because I just had a big goofy grin on my face the whole time. I was like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, and so after she finds out that he's Seiji Yamasawa, Seiji is like, hey, Shizuku, like, yo, I did all the things with the books. Like, I I actually think your writing is kind of clever, and like I admire how much of a bookworm you are, and like he points out like how she's reading all these books, and like she, even if she might not have realized it, like it's all been leading up for like inspiration, or like she's been practicing to for when she eventually does start to write for real. And now because she's been reading all these books and like taking in all this information on like how like what her favorite books are, and like how what she likes about them, then she's when she learns of Seiji's uh desire to leave for Italy to study with a master violin maker in order to pursue his dream. Shizuku is like, "Dang, like you're so cool, Seiji, that you know what you want to do and you're pursuing your dream. Meanwhile, I don't know shit. I don't know crap. I'm gonna take this as a challenge. I'm gonna write a fucking novel."
Yeah, and that's very much where we get to the main themes of this movie, where Shizuku, you know, up to this point, she's just been kind of going through life, just kind of doing whatever, and she sees all these people who are, have deep passions. Like Seiji is going to Italy, and to her it's this very emotionally turbulent thing because obviously she's in love with him, but also because he's willing to move out of the country. Well, not move per se. He still ends up going back, but would potentially stay in Italy to do this, right? And is willing to go out there for 2 months before coming back, and is like in this fight to convince his parents to let him pursue his passion. Meanwhile, she's like, well, I don't even like have a passion that I'm fighting for. What am I doing? Huh? And she eventually, like you said, finds this in writing, this sense of purpose. And well, like I said, this is the best part of the movie to me, where she just goes nose to the grindstone, like scraping it bloody against it, just pouring herself into this novel, doing research, just writing all the time by hand, by the way, because that's how people used to write back in the olden days. And the reason why I paid special attention to that is because I thought about my own writing, where granted, I write pretty slowly. I have terrible handwriting, and my hand cramps up really quickly. But I type on a computer to get my stories out, and it's way faster. And so I saw her doing that, and I was like, oh, this is gonna take like twice as long in terms of like raw writing output speed for her than it would me, simply because I have a keyboard. And that sort of, to me, put that into perspective of being like, oh, this is like a huge amount of work for 2 months compared to what I did, especially because, she's, granted, I was balancing it with a job when I wrote my most recent novel, but she's also balancing it with school. And so,
Well, you
I
say
could
she's
put
balancing
myself,
it, but then
yeah,
but then her
not very
grades start
well.
to slip.
Which, granted, I was also like that with school. I would skip choir class every time I had it in order to write when I was writing my first novel. So I did not pay attention in that class. I didn't even attend it by the end. I was just working on my book instead. So lots to relate to in that section.
Yeah, the whole time when she's like arguing with her parents and her sister over uh like, hey, I don't need to go to school. I'll just drop out. I won't go to college. I'll just be a writer, and
Man,
I'll make a
man,
career
the
doing that.
parallels
And then her parents
are too vivid.
and that this is when Crunchy sees himself in the 14-year-old anime girl and goes and does the Leonardo DiCaprio point to the camera,
I
well,
get it
point to the screen
now.
rather. Uh, and so her parents are fighting back like, okay, but what if it doesn't like take off? Like, then what are you gonna do? You're gonna be without a job and without an education to get you another job.
Wow, just like me for real. But luckily for her, she has like the most based parents in existence who are like, all right, we understand that this is important for you. They don't even know she's writing, by the way. They just know she's doing something. She's cooking. She's going on some kind of emotional journey. So they're like, all right, listen. You can ditch school for a bit. Well, not ditch it, but not focus as hard as we would like, even though we do really want you to study. But you can do this thing, right? Because I mean, she even says like and I love this, like in this panicked tone, but I only have 3 weeks left. Like I've got to get this done. Which obviously reminded me of myself. Always
Yeah, I
scraping
love
right by
how
the deadline.
yeah, she's measuring herself up to the person she admires because she's like, I have to be like good enough to like stand by his side, and because if I can't like fulfill my own dream, then if I'm by his side, I might like stand in the way of his.
Yeah, and so it's great. I God, I love that moment where she's writing and then gets up from her chair onto the ground and just sort of flops down, almost numb feeling. Because I do that all the time. Like midway through editing in the video, I would constantly just get up from my chair, go lay on my bed, and just stare at the cat. Just stare at my cat. Just say, "Hey, what's going on, cat? How's it hanging?" I would just do that for like 5 minutes before finally being like, "Okay, I can get back to to work. I can do this. I need to like get up and actually do shit."
Yeah, and then when she while she's like trying to write her story, she visits the antique shop once again, and she has a conversation with Nishi about like, hey, can I make a story about the Baron? And he's like, oh yeah, sure, as long as I'm the first to read it. And then he does this is one of my favorite parts of the whole movie, which is a lot of them, but this one hit me hardest because I had never seen this movie until a month ago, where I watched it in theaters with G Kids Ghibli Fest, and I'd never even seen clips of it. The only clip I had seen of it was the "Take Me Home, Country Road" scene. So I had no idea that like the whole movie was going to be about writing. I didn't know it was going to be about trying to like keep up with with a violin player to discover your passion and like what it means to pursue it. So let me preface this real quick. I think I mentioned this way back in one of my rant requests on my second channel about writing that you asked me specifically about the different stories I'd made, and I think I mentioned this in that, but just in case I'll say it again. I once had an idea for a story in a similar vein to it was this was around the time where, like, I couldn't think of like completely original ideas, so I was just basing them off of pre-existing things. Not quite like fan fiction, but like as a spiritual successor before I could be like, all right, I gotta like think of like more original ideas so I can one day, if I have the opportunity, make my own story to put my own mark out in the artistic world, my own artistic mark out into the world. And I had came up with these two characters named Beryl and Emerald. And then when the old man brought out the geode and pointed it inside of it and said, all of these rocks in here are called barrels, and they have little emeralds encased within them. And the thing about barrels that you gotta like cut and polish them. They've got these little hidden. They may look like rocks on the outside, but they have hidden gems within that you just need to cut out and bring out and polish. I started sobbing.
Okay, that's like a bit more specific than even my anecdotes through which I relate to this film.
Like I had no idea that like talking the words barrel or emerald were even going to be mentioned in the movie. I would have put money on, like, if someone told me, hey, they're going to bring up the beryl and emerald crystals in this movie, I'd be like, you're fucking lying to me. Under what context would they possibly bring this out? And then like I had never felt more seen in my life because this movie came out in fucking 95. I had never
They
seen a clip of
literally
it aside from the
predicted it.
Take Me Home scene. And then like nearly all those years after the fact, nearly 30 years later, and I'd seen it in my adult life a month ago, in the story that the story that I made with those characters I'd abandoned in favor of Godwing, which I'm still like chipping away at in my spare time. I'll write down ideas that I have. But then I see like it was like being taken back to a younger version of myself and like seeing an idea that I had created for a story, and I would then later take elements of and then put it into more original ideas. For that to like show up in the movie, and for him to like describe the artistic process with it was almost like he was using the characters that I had created to describe the artistic process, and I just started sobbing.
Yeah, that probably explains why you gave it a 10 and I didn't. Or at least part of it, because I did not cry during this movie. I did get emotional.
I
but
cried
did not
multiple
cry.
times throughout the movie.
Goddamn.
I did like the tears didn't like stream down the face, but like they welled up a bunch. Like, especially there that and when she finally finished the story, and then Nishi says, like he doesn't bullshit her. He's like, yeah, it could be polished here and there, but like overall, this is like really good for a first draft. And then she fucking, all her emotions just start pouring out because like all her hard work was worth it in the end.
Oh, that scene was so good. I completely bought why she just burst into tears at that. That's fucking great. Yeah, and then
Yeah. So anyway, this movie is a masterpiece and the best Ghibli movie. Fuck Spirited Away. This is the best Ghibli movie.
So I've only seen 2 Ghibli movies, and it's definitely the better of the 2 I've seen, because the other one was The Boy and the Heron, and that one wasn't very good.
I forget. Did you give that one a 5 or a
Yes,
6?
I gave that a 5.
Damn.
I really did not like that movie. But this one,
Yeah,
I
well-
do really like this one. It's an 8.
Yeah, well, once again, I'll have to have you revisit Boy and the Heron once you've seen like the majority of the Ghibli movies, because I think it's best appreciated having seen at least most of them, because it's kind of like a love letter to the whole Ghibli filmography. But that's getting off track. Back to the movie. Yeah, just everything about it, man. It screams so much to like things I look for in media and like want to put out in my own stories, that it feels like the movie was made for me, like specifically.
I guess, I do really like it, but I don't feel that same way where it's like, oh, this was made for me. This is right up my alley. I feel that way with other things, but strangely not this movie.
That shocks me.
And I guess the best way I can articulate this is the realization that if I had written this movie, not that I could, not that it's something that I would write. Well, I mean, kind of, considering my actual novel is literally about
Wow,
the group of
Crunchy,
novelists
you're
in a
really gonna
club.
compare yourself to Hayao fucking Miyazaki? Don't break an arm
Yes,
jerking
I
yourself
am.
off there, pal.
But I guess it was the realization that if I had written it, the first 2 acts of this movie would be the first act of my version, and the final act would be the last 2 acts. Because to me, like I said, the 3rd act is the part where like all my investment is heightened. This is what I'm here for. This is what it's all about. Woo, yeah, baby, that's what I've been waiting for. No, that's the writing, that's the art, that's the part that I connect with most strongly. And to me, that's like, once again, the highlight of the movie. But everything before that isn't necessarily, to me, like the greatest thing ever. I don't think that section of the movie has nearly enough for me to give it a 10. Because I enjoy the slice of life. It goes on a little long, in my opinion, but it is still fun. I was never bored during the movie, like, in no way. But it's definitely not the peak of my investment or anywhere close to that. And I don't think it's necessarily, once again, not nearly strong enough to me to give it a 10. Where, like if I'm thinking pure like best slice of life, that'd be something like Dragon Maid that makes me laugh all the time and smile constantly, and I love every single character, and it's like just nothing but bangers, like top to bottom. This is more like, it's a bit more, I don't know quite how to describe, but it's not that level of peak, Uh, like that weird love triangle where it's like the boy is in love with her friend, who's in love with this boy, who's in love with Shizuku, who's in love with someone else. I don't really know what that had to do with anything. I'm not gonna lie.
I think I also thought about that too, like after the fact, like, that whole love triangle thing kind of ultimately didn't matter since her friend character, what was her name?
I don't remember, but like my thought when I first watched that scene, because admittedly, I thought it was like easily the weakest part of the movie, even in the moment where I was like, oh, okay, well, I don't really care about most of these characters except for Shizuku. But I was thinking, I was like, they can redeem this though. If she like, I don't know, maybe this is like a painful moment that she's going to put into her book. But we don't actually know much of what her book is about, aside from it being about the Baron and it being like this very whimsical, surreal adventure. We do actually see some scenes from the book play out, and it looks like bananas, and like it's got sort of a fairy tale vibe to it.
Yeah, it looks like the kind of movie that Miyazaki would make.
Yeah, honestly, I did think that when I was thinking back to The Boy and the Heron. I was like, yeah, this does have a similar
them
vibe
like
to the
running
world of
along
that story.
the sky and like jumping across like tall buildings and clouds.
They specifically say like space is warped such that objects that are closer look smaller. Or no, I think it's the other way around. No, objects that become closer, yeah, they're smaller, and objects that are further appear larger. Something to that effect. Yeah, I'm right on that. I just woke up.
Yeah,
So
when I
I'm a
was a
little
kid
slow.
and I would see the DVD for this movie at Costco next to a bunch of other Ghibli movies that I never seen before. When I saw the movie, I thought it was going to be about well, when I saw the cover, I thought it was going to be about this girl being like taken on this magical journey with the Baron cat dude, jumping around, flying all over the place.
Not gonna lie,
And then
until I saw the Baron in the shop, I thought that cat she was following would end up being the cat on the cover, and it'd go in like some
I thought they were going to
direction.
incorporate magic in some way, but I'm kind of glad that they didn't, because it makes the story like feel more human and like personable. Like there's no, oh, by using the power of magic, she was able to finish her book. No, it was all her. Like she like the fantasy of the of like the ideas she crafted from the fantasy of the that she created for the Baron is what helped inspire her to write the book. But like it is not like, oh, I'm just gonna like write about all the experience I had on this magical journey that I went on.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate that it doesn't incorporate actual magic, because the magic of writing is magic enough. Ayo. But yeah, the romantic melodrama I think was extremely pointless in the end. I would have cut that out.
I think what it was they were trying to go for is trying to set up more of a like upping the relatability of Shizuku, because like she is the most like human relatable character in like pretty much the entire Ghibli filmography. Like even though she's not the only Ghibli movie character or Ghibli movie protagonist to be placed in a movie setting where there's nothing fantastical going on. Like there's Grave of the Fireflies, there's The Wind Rises, there's like more like ocean waves from Up on Poppy Hill. Yeah, she's not the only, non-magical protagonist, but she feels like she's the most like easily to relate to, because like damn it, the name is blanking. I mean, again, Grave of the Fireflies. That's a World War II movie. We didn't grow up in World War II, or even like in a wartime in the world at all. The Wind Rises. Like, yeah, the movie is about, pursuing passion in a similar vein of Whisper of the Heart, but it's more kind of framed within the context of aviation and like crafting airplanes, which is not something everyone is like has too much of an understanding on or is like keen to even care about. But when it comes to Shizuku, like most people were a young person at that one point in their lives. Most people had dreams and aspirations, or maybe like they would discover them and not realize that what they wanted to do with their lives for a little bit, and were able to figure out what they wanted to do. And the point of the like romance stuff was to make her like more like this could happen to anyone. Like her story is not unique to Shizuku, or is like a circumstance that only someone like her could go through. Like, she is a person, she has like things happen to her in her life, and it all like led her down to this moment of finding Seiji and finding the ability to, well, not the ability, but the desire to want to pursue a passion and make a career out of writing.
You saying all that has made me realize perhaps one of the ways in which I don't relate to the movie strongly enough for it to be a 10, because, one of the major themes is about Shizuku figuring out, like, oh, my life has no direction, I want to do this in order to give it a direction. Like, this is, figuring out that passion.
Well, like, what's nice about it, though, is that, like, it's not like she is unhappy with her sense of direction, because she's not, like, depressed or anything. She's just like, no, I haven't really given it like much thought or really figured it out yet. But she's like so enamored by Seiji that he has figured that shit out that she's like, dang, I want to be like him because he's so cool.
But I guess I was in the position where, and I've only recently realized just how weird this is, but I just always wanted to be a writer and or YouTuber, just artist in general. I just had it figured out from a very, very early point. And I had to struggle with the idea that I couldn't do that. Well,
I thought she was going to try to take up singing because she was writing a fan cover of Country Roads and singing it to her friends. And she was going to sing it for the school. So I figured she wanted to pursue something in singing. But no, she took the writing aspect of like writing a song of original lyrics and transformed it. Like, she did something that she thought she was like wanted to do, but then she found something like a facet of it that she then turned into something that she found out she really likes to do.
Which is based. Writing is awesome. But I guess
I thought you would have related to that in a bit, in the sense of, I know I want to write novels, but I've also kind of found this somewhat secondary passion of being a YouTuber where I'll take my I'm not like crafting original stories per se, but I'm, crafting a narrative and like practicing writing in a creative way through these videos and putting it out there, and people are responding to them and liking them.
I mean, I guess I've never thought about it in that sense. Comparing that aspect of the movie to my own life. But I guess, the point I was making, I guess, where I don't connect with it as strongly is just that, that whole theme of, like, figuring out what you want to do with your life, whatever. I just don't feel as strongly about, like, oh, I need to find, like, a thing I want to do. Like, I don't know what I want to do with my life or whatever. Just kind of always kind of had this in mind.
I don't think it's as like more of a thing with Shizuku. Like, she didn't know what she wanted to do, like that. Like, she didn't, but it's not like a point that was like so much in contention that it made her like feel like less of a happy of a person. She was just more of like I'm like, figure it out as I go along. But then when she meets Seiji
I
and
mean,
then
it
like
definitely bothered
sees
her
like
though. You say that it didn't make her, depressed or anything, and that is true, but it definitely did bother her when she saw other people. Like
well
even her sister was like, "Oh yeah, I'm moving out," and she's like, "Oh." Well, I mean, this isn't explicit in the movie, I don't think, but the vibe I got from it is she's thinking, "Oh, even she's like now figuring out what
Well,
she's
yeah, cool.
doing
Now,
with her
because now,
life."
because she's seeing like the people around her like moving on, and like she's developed this attraction to Seiji and this admiration that
Yeah,
he
and she
knows
feels
what
like she's
he
being
wants to
left
do.
behind. Like it very much
Yeah,
does
she feels like
bother
she's been
her.
stagnant, and now she wants to, and she wants to immediately take action to change that about her, which I found very endearing.
It is based, I'm just not sure how relatable. I mean, I guess if I think about it a certain way, I can apply it to my own life. So maybe I'm just not thinking about it hard enough. But
Nah, the real part where you disconnected with Shizuku as a character is when after she finishes her story, she's like, "Hey, mom, I'll go back to high school. I'll go to high school. I'll get my degree, and I still want to be a writer, but I'll go to high school to get better at writing."
true. I would not have said that. I would have been like, okay, I finished my first novel, now I'm just gonna do this all day.
Well, your first novel better have been as successful to form a career off of.
My first novel was like a 6 out of 10, so
Well, we'll see. The last thing I want to talk about the movie is the romance between Shizuku and Seiji, which is so fucking wholesome and sweet.
yeah, it's a really they're made for each other. At the end when he said like let's get married, that was based.
And she's just like, yeah, she's not like, wow, you're jumping the gun a little. She's just like, yeah, let's do it. And then he like comes by, he returns from Italy earlier than she thought. I love the line where after she like gets on the back of his bike and they're just biking in the dawn right before the sunrise. She's just like, I can't believe it. Is this a dream? I don't care if it's a dream. Like if this is a good dream.
I
It's like
loved the
it's so
line
cute.
where Seiji is like, I stared at your house and thought like, oh, I want Shizuku to come out and see me, and then you did, just magically with my mind, and it's like, oh, that's so great because he didn't want to like make a noise or cause anyone to wake up in the house. It was just like,
They psychically felt each other's presence.
yeah, and Shizuku like trying to keep quiet as she rushes out the door and accidentally knocking
It's so
down
cute.
yeah, knocking something down on the way, and she's like, "Oh no, did it wake anyone up?"
And then at the very last line of the movie, after they agree to get married in the future, he just gives her a big hug, and like in the most like complete antithesis of how he acted at the beginning of the movie of being like cool, aloof, poke fun of type. He just like a complete goober just goes, "Shizuku, I love you," and like very loudly.
That final scene is probably like my favorite individual scene in the movie.
It's great. The whole movie's great. We didn't even touch on like the whole story about like the Baron with Nishi and how it was like how he separated from his lover during World War II, and how he enjoyed Shizuku's story because he saw a bit of like his own personal story in it with the Baron if inside the story.
I mean, if you think about it, that's kind of been what we've been doing this entire podcast, is just relating it back to our own experiences being created.
Yeah, and that's why the movie's so fucking based.
It understands. I mean, it kind of has to because it's written by Hayao Miyazaki. Of course, he gets it, but it's still great to see that in a movie.
I can't believe you not at least giving this a 9.
It's an 8. It's really good. It's really solid. I did enjoy the entire thing, but it's an 8. It's not quite a 9.
I can't believe that now you're gonna fucking watch a movie like Whiplash and be like, 7 out of 10. It was good, just not, it's a little overrated.
I actually did watch Whiplash. It's more like a 4. It's kind of I didn't really like the character. Dude, God, I wish I knew his name so I could be actually convincing here. Main villain guy was
J.K.
actually
Simmons.
J.K. Simmons was actually overrated.
Something no one can ever possibly say about Whiplash. That's just like a wrong take. That's not even like a bad opinion. That's like a wrong take.
From what everyone says about that movie, I can only imagine so.
Yeah, maybe one day I'll get you to watch Whiplash too. Whiplash, everyone's favorite anime.
Hey, we've put games on the podcast. We've put cartoons on it. I'm sure Whiplash isn't the strangest thing we could put on there.
All right, well, maybe one day you'll see the light and realize that the movie is in fact a masterpiece. Maybe watching the Shape video will change your mind. I don't know. But yeah, that is Whisper of the Heart. Go watch it, and Oshi Season 2. I think this is the first time in podcast history where both things we talked about, at least one of us thought was both a masterpiece.
I mean, we both thought they were very good, so you should watch both regardless.
Yeah, and that'll do her for today's episode of Castaway Anime. Get excited for the seasonal podcast. They're coming next week, assuming this comes out on time and I don't lose power because of Hurricane Milton. So, pray for that. If this episode does not come out on October the 12th, then you know why. If you enjoyed the podcast and you want to hear more of us, please give us your thoughts on what we talked about down in the comments and what you'd like to talk about us in the future. If you want to keep up with the podcast, never miss an episode, make sure to subscribe to the channel here on YouTube or follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to Crunchy's channel and check out all their socials, all linked in the description below. And once again, go check out the Nyan Neko Sugar Girls video. It's popping off, so show it some more love. And that'll do her for this episode of Castaway Anime. I'm Neon Manta.
And I'm Crunchy Bagels.
And you'll see us next time.